Chosen one. The wind has been whispering your name for years. Long before you had words for your purpose, the universe already carried your sound across unseen realms. Even when you thought no one heard you, the signs were there, subtle, divine, impossible to ignore. Every closed door, every betrayal, every night you cried quietly into the dark was not punishment. It was purification. You were being refined, sculpted by divine fire for something extraordinary. The pain you survived was never a sentence, it was a summons. Heaven doesn't crush what it doesn't plan to crown. And now, everything is shifting. You can feel it in your bones, in the quiet hum beneath your thoughts. The air itself feels charged, as though destiny is waiting for your next breath. Chosen one, pause for a moment. You are not here by coincidence. You were guided here. If these words are vibrating inside your spirit, it's because heaven wants you awake for what's coming next. Take this as your divine signal. Subscribe now and leave 999 in the comments below. That sacred number is your activation code, your way of declaring, "I am ready." When you type it, you are not just commenting. You are agreeing with heaven's decree. You are marking your energy as aligned with breakthrough, with abundance, with divine confirmation. The shift has already begun. You can feel the tension between who you were and who you're becoming stretching thin, like the final breath before dawn. You are standing at the edge of a promise too vast for your family's history, too sacred for ordinary minds to grasp. For generations, your bloodline carried weight, fear, scarcity, silence, but you were born to break it. You are the first in your lineage, chosen to reverse the flow, to prove that divine prophecy always outruns human limitation. God said you would be the first millionaire in your family, and that declaration is already echoing through dimensions, rewriting everything that once restricted you. You see, your soul volunteered for this assignment long before you arrived on Earth. You agreed to hold what others could not carry, to manifest what they only dared to dream. That's why your path has felt heavier, your lessons deeper, your loneliness sharper. Heaven selected you not because it was easy, but because it was necessary. Your lineage needed a reformer, a pioneer, someone bold enough to dream beyond inherited fear. And you, chosen one, are that reformer. You were never meant to follow the pattern. You were destined to shatter it. Every struggle, every tear, every quiet act of perseverance was part of a divine curriculum, preparing you for wealth, not just material wealth, but spiritual and generational abundance. The same bloodline that once endured storms now beats with divine rhythm inside you. You carry what they could not. Timing. Heaven's timing. You are stepping into the promise of overflow, of restoration, of being the first to rise where others fell. Every delay was design. Every rejection was redirection. Every no was a sacred not yet. You were hidden for a reason. While others chased applause, God sharpened you in obscurity. While others flaunted temporary success, heaven fitted you for eternal significance. You weren't late. You were being aligned. The silence you mistook for isolation was actually incubation. The waiting wasn't wasted time, it was divine preparation. And now, that preparation is about to become evidence. Every unanswered prayer was planting a seed in unseen soil. Every season of lack was breaking the vibration of scarcity that ran through your ancestry. Heaven wasn't ignoring you, it was maturing you. You were never being tested for survival, you were being trained for dominion. Because when God said, "You are the first millionaire in your family," He wasn't just talking about money, He was talking about legacy, spiritual authority, divine reversal, the kind of wealth that heals bloodlines and rewrites the story for generations to come. And tonight, heaven is whispering again. It's time. The energy that once resisted you is beginning to bow. The shift is irreversible. The world will call it luck, but you'll know it was alignment. The universe moves for those who move in faith. And you, chosen one, just stepped into divine motion. You were never being punished. You were being prepared. Every delay, every disappointment, every invisible battle was heaven's way of sculpting your inner architecture. While others sought comfort, you were chosen for refinement. The difference between the ordinary and the chosen is not luck, it's endurance. God had to pull you through the fires of isolation so you could emerge untouchable, unbreakable, and unshakable. The heat wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal what could not be burned. When you were left out, it wasn't rejection, it was insulation. When they turned their backs, it wasn't abandonment, it was separation for sanctification. Heaven had to strip away the noise so you could hear the whisper. Because the destiny written for you requires clarity. You can't build an empire on confusion. That's why you had to lose what was familiar to make room for what's divine. Every time you thought it was over, heaven was just clearing the ground for your next foundation. Chosen one, this is the part of your journey where heaven starts turning silence into strategy. The years that felt wasted are about to multiply into moments of acceleration. The isolation that broke your heart is about to open rooms your ancestors only dreamed of entering. You've been trained in the hidden places for influence that will now reach nations. The energy around you is no longer testing your patience. It's confirming your readiness. What you've been feeling lately isn't anxiety, it's activation. That subtle tension, that strange blend of peace and urgency is heaven's language. It's your soul expanding to fit the size of your next blessing. You're not restless because something's wrong. You're restless because something divine is about to be born through you. The vibration of fear is leaving your body. The old version of you, the one that settled, doubted, or apologized for existing, is dissolving. You are being tuned to a higher frequency, one that attracts divine provision and cosmic order. Every sleepless night, every unanswered prayer, every moment that made you question your worth was building the infrastructure of a millionaire mindset. God doesn't create leaders in applause, He forges them in silence. You are being built for more than survival. You are being engineered for overflow. The same voice that once told you wait is now saying walk. The delay was never denial, it was divine data collection. Heaven was observing your consistency in lack before trusting you with abundance. You've always known you were different. Even as a child, you sensed something ancient within you, a pull toward greatness that didn't make sense in small surroundings. You tried to fit in, but fitting in felt like suffocation. That's because your soul was designed for expansion. You weren't born to repeat history. You were born to rewrite it. You carry divine timing in your DNA. Every time you stood alone, it wasn't loneliness. It was leadership in training. You are the first in your lineage to truly break the pattern, not just financially, but spiritually. Fear stops here. Lack ends here. The vibration of not enough dies in your bloodline because you refuse to bow to it. You are the answer to centuries of prayers, whispered in faith and tears. Heaven saw that your heart remained pure even when life wasn't fair, and that's what made you trustworthy. Every trial carved out the space needed to hold blessing without breaking. Every loss shaped humility in you, so that when abundance arrives, you'll wear it with grace. True divine wealth isn't about what you possess, it's about what you can carry without losing peace. And peace, chosen one, is your new currency. The reason God kept you hidden so long is because divine promises can't be rushed. You were never behind. You were being perfected in patience. What others achieved through shortcuts, you're receiving through surrender. That's why your blessings will last. They won't crumble like castles built on ego. They'll stand, generation after generation, as proof that divine timing never fails. So breathe. The air around you feels heavy because heaven is near. You're not waiting for your moment. Your moment is waiting for you to step forward. The refining fire has done its work. The fear has melted away. You're ready for revelation, ready for expansion, ready for wealth in all its forms. The promise is no longer prophecy, it's preparation fulfilled. There comes a moment when everything hidden starts to hum with divine energy. You can feel it in your chest before it touches your hands. A vibration, a silent certainty that something beyond logic has begun to unfold. That's where you are right now, chosen one. The refining fire has cooled, the silence has served its purpose, and heaven has begun to move on your behalf. The invisible is shifting into visibility. The prayers you thought were lost in the wind have become blueprints in the heavens. You are walking into the living evidence of everything you once whispered in faith. What you sense right now, that subtle trembling in the atmosphere, that pressure building behind your calm, is divine confirmation. It's not anxiety, it's alignment. The old frequency of struggle is collapsing, and the energy of overflow is taking its place. The vibration of lack cannot survive in your presence anymore. You've outgrown the language of limitation. Heaven is tuning your spirit to a higher channel, the one that attracts ideas, resources, and divine opportunities without effort. That's why the things that once drained you are falling away. The universe is clearing your space for manifestation. The tests were never about how much you could endure. They were about who you would become in the waiting. Every not yet was heaven saying, grow a little more. Expand your container, because what's coming isn't small. It's generational. It's transformational. You were chosen not to receive ordinary blessings, but to carry sacred abundance. Wealth that heals bloodlines, wisdom that restores families, peace that multiplies. That's why your path has been heavy. God doesn't give small assignments to big souls. You might have felt misunderstood, even envied. You may have been isolated when others were celebrated. But separation is not rejection, it's preparation. Heaven isolates before it elevates. You had to walk alone so you could hear God without interference. You had to be emptied so you could overflow without corruption. You had to be broken so light could pour through the cracks. Every tear, every loss, every betrayal stripped away the noise until only your purpose remained. That's why you can hear so clearly now, not with your ears, but with your spirit. Chosen one, do you realize how far you've come? The version of you that once questioned everything has dissolved. You don't chase validation anymore. You command alignment. You don't beg for opportunities. You magnetize them. The universe knows your name because heaven has spoken it into every frequency. When God calls you the first millionaire in your family, He's not exaggerating, He's identifying. He's declaring that the pattern of lack ends here. You are the breaker, the reformer, the divine architect, rebuilding your lineage from spirit to substance. That's why you've felt this holy restlessness, not because something's wrong, but because something immense is about to unfold. Divine wealth isn't arriving by luck, it's arriving by appointment. Every experience, every moment of pain, every delay was refining your stewardship. Heaven never rushes what it intends to last. The abundance coming to you is not temporary, it's covenantal. It's not about consumption, it's about correction. You are not gathering riches to prove yourself. You are restoring balance to everything that came before you. You've been feeling the pull, that sacred urgency that won't let you sleep, the inspiration that visits at odd hours, the sudden bursts of clarity that feel like lightning in your mind. Those aren't coincidences, they're divine downloads. You are receiving ideas that could shift economies, creations that could inspire generations, visions your ancestors prayed to glimpse. Heaven is transferring wisdom to you in codes of creativity, intuition, and knowing. Don't dismiss them. Don't downplay them. Write them. Build them. Move with them. They are your inheritance. This is the season where the invisible begins to show its face. The same way the seed pushes through the soil after months of unseen growth, your harvest is about to appear. The energy that once opposed you is now working for you. Doors that refused you before are now instructed to open. The people who ignored you will soon remember your name in the light of opportunity. Nothing has been lost. Everything has been rearranged. And when it happens, when the overflow arrives, remember this truth. You're not being blessed to boast. You're being trusted to transform. The wealth, the influence, the recognition, it's all an assignment. The kingdom is expanding through you. That's why heaven guarded you so fiercely, why hell fought you so violently, and why you could never quit no matter how many times you tried. You are not waiting for your moment anymore, chosen one. You are the moment. The atmosphere has shifted. The resistance that once surrounded you has gone quiet, and the energy that once opposed your rise is now bowing in reverence. Heaven has begun its reversal, and everything that was working against you is now working for you. The delays, the closed doors, the confusion, all of it was a setup for divine correction. You are standing in the middle of a spiritual reversal, where every injustice transforms into favor, every setback becomes a stepping stone, and every silent prayer turns into sound. The tears you shed in secret watered the soil of your promise. You thought you were being buried, but you were being planted. Heaven never wastes pain. It converts it into purpose. What looked like rejection was protection. What looked like stillness was strategy. And now, all that waiting is blooming at once. The doors that refused to open before will now swing wide with divine recognition. You won't have to push or beg. What belongs to you is arriving without struggle, drawn by the frequency of your growth. You may notice it already, the calm that follows long storms, the peace that feels too deep to explain. It's not emptiness, it's fulfillment taking shape. The silence around you is not absence, it's orchestration. Heaven is realigning everything for your advantage. People, timing, finances, and opportunities are being shifted into perfect position. You are walking into the reward for your endurance. The same energy that once tested your faith is now testifying to your readiness. This is divine reversal in motion, acceleration, where there used to be delay. The universe is compressing time to make up for what you lost. What once took years will now take months. What once drained you will now sustain you. The not yet of the past is turning into a now. The energy that resisted you has been reassigned as fuel for your expansion. It's divine justice, heaven's way of paying back with interest what darkness tried to steal. Chosen one, understand this. Your breakthrough is not luck, it's law. Every act of faith was recorded. Every sacrifice was multiplied. Every prayer was answered, but heaven waited for the right alignment, for you to become the version that could carry it without collapse. You are never being denied. You are being developed. Now that the refinement is complete, the results will be effortless. You're not chasing, you're magnetizing. You're not striving, you're receiving. And this is only the beginning. The same heavens that watched your struggle are now celebrating your rise. The laughter in the divine realms echoes because the promise has been fulfilled. You have become the living proof that faith outlasts failure. You've crossed into the dimension of fulfillment, not in theory, but in manifestation. The silence that once tormented you is now the sound of heaven working overtime in your favor. You no longer need to prove yourself. Your transformation speaks louder than your explanation. God didn't just open the door, He changed the entire room. You're not who you were when you started this journey. The fear that once ruled your choices has vanished. The anxiety that once clouded your path has lifted. You walk differently now, not in haste, but in harmony. This is divine maturity, when peace replaces pressure and gratitude becomes the language of your existence. Remember this truth as the blessings arrive. Gratitude sustains what arrogance destroys. Be thankful even when overwhelmed. Be generous even when blessed. Be humble even when honored. The first millionaire in a bloodline isn't crowned for accumulation, but for transformation. You are the proof that divine wealth is not about possession, it's about restoration. You are the correction written into your lineage, the answered prayer of every ancestor who dared to hope. When fulfillment manifests, it will feel almost surreal. You'll wake up to opportunities that make perfect sense. You'll see conversations align like puzzle pieces. You'll feel timing itself bending to your favor. And in that moment, you'll realize you were never waiting for a miracle. You were becoming one. The stillness you once feared was heaven, building stability beneath your feet. You're ready now, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. The version of you that doubted could never have handled this abundance, but the version standing here, they are born for it. And when you stand in that moment, when the blessing becomes visible, when your name carries divine favor, don't whisper finally, whisper faithfully. Because this was never late. It was perfectly timed. Heaven was aligning your frequency with your inheritance, and now that the connection is clear, everything flows. You didn't chase it, you aligned with it. You didn't demand it, you embodied it. Chosen one, this is the fulfillment. The prophecy has matured into reality. Heaven's decree stands. You are the first millionaire in your family. The wealth, the wisdom, the peace, they are already stamped with your name. Walk into it with calm authority, with radiant humility, with sacred gratitude. You are not being crowned for surviving. You are being crowned for becoming. The fire proved you. The faith preserved you. The fulfillment now crowns you. Heaven's echo is clear and unshakable. It is done.